Welcome to MotoGP in 9 minutes. Here is what you need to know today. Mugello delivered exactly what it promised. Italy came to watch an execution and got a resurrection instead. Marco Bezzecchi won his fourth race of 2026, dominating from lap 14 onwards to extend his championship lead and prove he is not a one-race wonder. This was not luck or circumstances. This was a rider in complete command of the title fight on a bike that has no business being this fast. And Aprilia, the black machine, has obliterated Ducati on their home soil. Bezzecchi's performance matters because it signals something fundamental has shifted in the championship dynamic. He took the lead from Bagnaia on lap 14 at turn 1 with a late lunge that left no room for negotiation. From that moment, the race was over. Bezzecchi pulled away lap after lap, while 180,000 Italians lost their minds watching an Aprilia win at Mugello instead of red. This is the new reality of MotoGP in 2026. Aprilia has arrived, and they are not leaving. The gap between Bezzecchi and his championship rivals is real, and it is widening. Martin finished second for Aprilia, making it a 1-2 that would have seemed impossible just seasons ago. For Ducati, this is a crisis moment. Not because of one race, but because the bike cannot match Aprilia's tire management in the critical phase. That is a fundamental problem that strategy cannot fix. Moving on to Bagnaia's day, Pecco led the race for 14 laps, and then watched it disappear in a single corner. He had passed Bezzecchi early and controlled the race until the tire management mathematics simply did not work anymore. Aprilia's strategy of saving rubber while Ducati spent it meant that when the critical moment came at full speed into turn 1, Bagnaia had nothing left. The execution was clinical. Bezzecchi saw the moment, made the move, and it was over. Bagnaia fought back moments later against Martin, but ultimately finished third. That podium, third place at his home circuit in front of the Ducatisti faithful, came at an enormous cost. For the first 6 laps of the race, while Bezzecchi applied pressure and Bagnaia led, the only thing protecting a complete disaster for Ducati was a man running on one good shoulder. Marquez, fresh from shoulder surgery, became the fortress that held back an avalanche of faster riders. Bagnaia's survival depended on Marquez holding P4 for as long as possible. Without that defense, Bagnaia, Acosta, and Ogura would have been through and gone, turning a survival podium into complete humiliation. That P3 exists because of what happened behind it. Bagnaia knows this. Everyone knows this. But the real story is what Marquez did to earn that P4, not what he finished. Next up, let us talk about Marc Marquez's comeback race and why it should terrify every rider on the grid. This was a man who had shoulder surgery, who by any reasonable standard should still be recovering, who arrived at Mugello as a question mark. He walked onto the grid and became a wall. For 15 laps, 5 different riders stacked up behind his number 93 plate, averaging 6 to 7 tenths of a second faster than him per lap, completely unable to find a way past. Acosta could not move him. Aldeguer could not move him. Bagnaia, who started P12 and was carving through the field like a machete, reached the back of that battle and found Marquez in the way. The queue kept growing. Marquez kept holding. He used turn 1 as a weapon instead of a grave, the same corner that would eat Pecco twice in that race. When Ogura finally sent him wide in the closing laps, it was not because Ogura is better. It was because there were simply too many of them, too late in the race. Even the fortress runs out of walls when the siege lasts that long. Marquez finished 7th. But ask those 5 riders what it felt like to spend 15 laps staring at that plate, wondering why the door would never open. That is the answer. This was Marquez at maybe 70% fitness, at the very beginning of his comeback, running on damaged goods, and he still turned MotoGP's fastest collection of riders into a parking lot. Think about what a complete Marquez looks like. Think about every single rider on that grid going up against a Marquez who is fully fit, fully sharp, fully recovered. God genuinely helped them because there would not be a race. There would only be a coronation. Switching gears to what this means for Ducati's season. The Italian manufacturer is facing a reality it has not had to confront in years. Their bike is fast. Their riders are championship caliber. But they cannot match Aprilia's tire management philosophy when the race reaches its critical phase. That is not a small problem. That is a fundamental engineering issue that requires serious answers. Bagnaia is looking at a gap in the title race that is not closing. He is on the same team as Bezzecchi, sharing data, sharing strategy, sharing everything, yet he cannot find the pace. Ducati's tire allocation, their approach to race management, their setup philosophy, all of it is being exposed by Aprilia's consistency. This is not about one rider or one race. This is about a systematic advantage that Aprilia has built into the RSGP. Bagnaia and Ducati have the talent. They have the resources, but they do not have the answer right now. The clock is ticking. Every race Bezzecchi wins extends his lead. Every podium that comes as a survival medal instead of a victory statement is a step backward in a championship fight that is supposed to be competitive. Ducati went to Mugello expecting answers. They got questions instead. Now let us talk about the championship picture and what Mugello tells us about the rest of the season. Bezzecchi is the championship leader. He has 4 wins. He is not leading by luck. He is leading because he and Aprilia have figured something out that Ducati and everyone else is still chasing. Martin is right there as his teammate, proving it is the bike and the team, not just the rider. The gap between the Aprilia pair and everyone else is real, and it is widening. Behind them, Bagnaia is fighting for podiums. That is not where Ducati expected to be. That is not where the championship favorite is supposed to finish. The dynamics inside the Aprilia garage create their own pressure, but right now Bezzecchi is handling it better. He is executing when it matters. He is making the crucial moves at the crucial moments. Mugello was supposed to be Ducati's moment. The iconic circuit. The home fans. The red passion. Instead it became a black machine victory. That shift in momentum is the single biggest takeaway from the weekend. If Bagnaia and Ducati cannot solve the tire management equation soon, this championship fight is going to look a lot more one-sided than anyone predicted. The season is still young, but the trend is established. Aprilia and Bezzecchi are in command. Finally, here is what you need to watch for moving forward. Marc Marquez is coming. This comeback race proved it. Yes, he finished 7th. Yes, he was dealing with physical limitations. But he showed every rider on that grid exactly what is waiting for them when he gets healthy. The paddock is already nervous. Imagine what happens when that shoulder is fully healed and he gets a few races under his belt to shake off the rust. The competition level is about to spike dramatically. Second, watch Ducati's response to Mugello. They cannot afford to let Aprilia establish a permanent championship lead. Every race matters now. Third, watch Bezzecchi's consistency. For wins is impressive, but the championship is not decided in August. The real test comes when Aprilia's advantage is challenged, when pressure mounts, when everything is on the line. Can Bezzecchi execute then, or was Mugello the high water mark? Those are the questions that will define the rest of 2026. The blood is on the asphalt at Mugello. The war has barely started. That is your MotoGP news for today. See you tomorrow, same place, same time.